If the test fails, that's fine. The classic adage that you learn from CMOs, I learned this from Kelly at Netflix. They spent $1.7 billion on performance marketing in 2017. And you'll hear, Brex also is really good at this. I know I'm wasting half my spend. I just don't know which half. And so that's okay. Do that and then do the work to figure out which half you're spending, but don't just spend with increased CAC for the sake of growth. It always has to be an experiment you learn something from.
When you look back at the consumer subscription companies and buying ad patterns, you said, I want to go in, I want to see how they buy ads. Who had the most atypical / weird process that stood out?
Yeah. Greg at Ladder. So Ladder is a health and fitness company. Perfect example. He's the CEO of the company, but he buys the ads himself. And he found a lot of arbitrage plays that other people have not found. And so you just got to go and figure out what those plays are.
Do you think there are new plays to be figured out today?
Every single day. Every single day.
What is the play today that people don't know?
Whitelisting ads on Instagram works really well.
So what whitelisting ads is?
So let's say you find a creator that is in your niche. For example, for us, maybe it's teachers. Maybe it's someone with ADHD or dyslexia. Maybe it's an AI creator. They make a video for you, and then you go, hey, make me 20 videos. I don't need you to post them on your profile. I'll run them as ad myself. And actually, if some of them are good, we can post them from your account and we increase the spend. And so users might not see it as a normal organic video, but you get to test all of those videos, see which one performs, and then you have them post organically the one that actually is successful.
Isn't consistency not important? And what I mean by consistency is like consistency of personality.
Not at all, because you're marketing for different demographics. So for example, you find this interesting. We test almost 1,000 AI-generated ads a day right now, on top of the roughly 8,000 organic creatives we make with humans every single month. And one of the things we do is we reskin. So my sister Geffen leads our ads team, and we have a bunch of great ads with Geffen. And then we'll turn her into a 60-year-old lady, and we'll turn her into a 40-year-old man, and then we'll turn her into someone who's African-American or someone who's Asian. And we'll change the background from a coffee shop to a library to I was going to say farm, but farm wouldn't convert for our users.
Sure.
And so you just test all the variations. And so I know that for us, highest converting demographics would be people in their 30s and 40s in terms of paid, but we have like crazy usage in the 18 to 28-year-old market. But people who are 60 and above need reading glasses, so they use Speechify a ton. And now we're launching voice agents at symbavoices.ai. And so that's a different demographic. And so all the initial ads for Speechify were me, as my face. And I would sit in my house, especially Saturday or Sunday, with my phone, and I'd record. I'd be like, as a medical student, I use Speechify to read while I'm working out. As a lawyer, I love working from home. And you just need to read that contract and find that one gotcha. And Speechify can find that for you. You just need to listen asynchronously. And I'll be like, I have dyslexia and blah, blah. I would just play all the characters and it was my face. And it converted really, really well. But I got maxed out. And so when Geffen joined and we hired other people to the team, suddenly we found that actually women convert a lot better than men as like audiences. And so right now, I'd say we have more women who use the product than men by like a good margin at the moment. It's just because our team happens to be very woman focused. And you just have to test everything.
On the video, before we move on, what do you use? Because I see everyone be like, oh, we do AI video. And like, we've seen a load of like, do you remember Icon, the Peter Thiel funded one that said like AI ads? What do you use for your AI ads?
Yeah. Because it's an arbitrage game, if you use the tool that everybody else uses, typically you're not going to win. So we just built our own platform. So there was a point several months ago where my girlfriend went to Disneyland. So I had 4 days free. And so in that time, I went to school, Alex Hermosi, shout out, and I did a course for AI-generated video ads. And then I hired everybody from inside of the community that was really good. And so I built a team. I hired 4 new engineers outside of our core team. Like in 1 week, I hired 10 people. And 24/7, all I was thinking about was AI-generated content. And my goal was to get to 1,300 ads that we tested every single day. And we just built tools for it. Initially, I built it on N8N, and then all the N8N instances would time out. So then we built our own platform and our own website that does really, really good AI-generated stuff that allows you to reskin. It automatically posts it to Meta and TikTok and YouTube and all the platforms, and it gives me all the data that I want. I'm obsessed with Manus, so I'd get like reporting from Manus every single day. And then after those 4 days, I would continue to monitor it, but I assigned a leader for that project, and that project has done really, really well. So we don't use any external tool. Obviously, we'll use all the LLMs, but that changes on a weekly basis, right? Well, one 2 was really good, and then Kling was really good, and then Seedance was really good, and now ChatGPT's new image model. And then a banana obviously is. You just constantly test and iterate, and you find flows that work. So we just built our own.
1,300 ads a day.
A day.
That's wild. What do we look for in the outcomes? At the end of the day, I work for Speechify and I go, okay, Cliff, here's 1,300 ads. What now?
Yeah. So what you want to do is you throw a lot of things on the wall. No matter how smart you are, you're not going to know ahead of time which thing is going to convert.
You really don't.
You don't. You have no idea. So you test. Once you test, you look for the following. In Meta, you can see the click-through rate on the ads, and you can see the CPA, cost per action, and you can learn what the CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions, are. So if we see that the cost of acquiring a user and having him pay is less than a certain amount, we're like, oh, very interesting. This is like a standard deviation better than everything else. Let me put it into the main campaign. Now it's going to compete against our best performing ads ever. And we let it breathe. And if it does well, it gets more spend. And if it does less well, it gets less spend and we cut it. And so it's like evolution. You put it into the wild and you see if it performs.
And so every day you'll take the top 10? You'll take the
every
top
day
20?
we upload 1,300 to our testing campaigns.
Yep.
We'll take of those, the ones that win. It might be the nothing one that day, in which case nothing gets launched. It might be the lot one that day, in which case they all get launched. And then you let them, it's like March Madness brackets. Like you just graduated to the next level of competition where you can get more spend. It's almost like duplicating the algorithm that TikTok and Instagram have anyway, where when you post a video, 1,000 people see it. And then if it does well, 10,000 people see it. And if it does well, 100,000 people see it. If it does well, 10 million people will see it. It's the same thing with performance marketing ads, except you're paying for every view.
Totally get that. You said you use Manus a lot.
A lot.
I'm just intrigued. I don't know if you saw actually just this morning, the acquisition was blocked by China.
Wow.
Yeah, and literally an hour ago. So that's interesting.
That is interesting.
What do you use Manus for?
So when GPT-3 came out, actually even GPT-2, my youngest brother, Eric, has neural inflammation and psychosis, and he's had it for a long time. It causes OCD, it causes paranoia. Me, my brother, and my sister got really good at using GPT-3 for medical stuff. And when ChatGPT came out, we started using it even more. My main use for Manus is medical things. So I build, on average, a website or 2 a day. And so, for example, I'll make a document of all the neuroencephalitis or Lyme doctors in the world, and then I'll auto-message all of them. I'll upload all of Eric's medical records, and then I'll build an interactive graph of them. I might go and look at a company that's similar for us. So Speechify is basically B2C version of 11 Labs. I'll go and find every article, every podcast, transcribe it, and map out their entire business. And I'll understand how their business works. Or I'll go, hey, we're selling into education. Great. I'll make a website with a map of all the United States, every single school district in the United States, who is the district administrator for that school, and make it into a website, and I'll send it to our B2B team. Why do I do it this way? Number one, it makes it easy for me to understand things. Number two, I can then plug that into another LLM, and it has access to the entire website that it can scrape. So I'll then put that into Claude, or I'll put that into ChatGPT, or I'll put that into Gemini. So that makes it really, really easy. Manus makes it really easy to post automatically for you. It's really great at deep research. So for example, my girlfriend and I went to Passover Seder the other day, and she didn't know too much about Judaism. So I wrote a 120-page document on the history of Judaism for her. And that way she didn't get bored at Seder, because she could listen to that with Speechify, and she just listened to it in 25 minutes in the car on the way there. And so I'm just constantly making things. And the thing is, it's very easy to use from my phone. It's very easy to use from a computer. I use Claude Code all the time and Dispatch from Claude as well. Manus is just a little bit faster, a little bit easier to use. And so Jarvis, which is the Speechify B2C voice agent, is essentially like Manus, but voice first. And so that's the places where I like Manus more than I like, Claude Code or Gemini.
I do just want to go back to the ad spend as well. You had one ad drive $3 million of revenue. Yeah. Can you just talk to me about that and the lessons learned from that?
Sure. So rule of 100. I had gone and I had talked to all these people who were good at growth. And then I made a list of the top 100 creators, and I talked to them, and I'd live in their houses. And then I was making those ads in my apartment. And some of them were good, but I was stuck in a local maxima. And I wanted to break out to a global maxima. And my conclusion is the way that I would do that is I made a list of the top 100 best performing ads in history. Every Super Bowl ad that was really funny. Every ad that made me cry. Every ad that won an award. I made a list of maybe 500 ads, and then I whittled them down to the top 100. And then I read the script for each one of them, and I rewrote the script to be about Speechify. And then what I would do is I would up the ante on the ad. So the rule in videos typically is you win or lose by the first 3 seconds. Do you have good retention in the first 3 seconds? But the rule I developed is actually you win or lose by the first image of the video, like the first 1080 pixels. And so I wanted the first 1080 pixels to be as crazy as possible. So the way to represent Speechify is headphones. So I got bright red headphones. I put them on my head. I put a suit on, and then I went into a hot tub. And so the first shot is me with red headphones and a suit in a hot tub. At the time I had long hair. And I just threw behind me like the most random knickknacks, like weird photos and books and stuff like that. And I developed this character called Cruz Silver. Cruz Silver appears in many of our ads, and he's a version of me. And he's very gullible. He's kind of dull, but he has great confidence. And so the ad starts, "Hi, I'm Cliff, founder of Speechify. What is Speechify? Well, you give us stuff you need to read, and we read it to you instantly." Yeah, instantly. Are the voices any good? No. Our voices are fucking great. And then it just goes into all these different scenes. And the video was really long. And so then I edited it, and I made, like my college apps, almost 50 variations of that video. And I tested all of them. And one did pretty good, and another did better, and 20 didn't perform at all, and one did amazing. And that YouTube ad basically launched the company to a whole new stratosphere and performed for like 3 years straight. That video got like hundreds of millions of impressions on Instagram alone. And then every year I remake that video. So again, I did the nacho commercial from the Super Bowl. I did the Isaiah Old Spice commercial. I literally got a horse for the ad. And you just take it as far as you can.
Did it work?
Which one?
Like, did they work like you thought they would?
It's a complete random distribution of what works
really?
And what doesn't work.
What did you think would that really didn't?
I thought that the Old Spice commercial would absolutely annihilate. It got like 300,000 views. The one that I did not expect to work that worked amazing is I wrote a rap song about my experience with dyslexia and ADHD, and that thing made us like $3 million on a rap song. You have no idea. You just have to test.
Do you believe in the power of repurposing? We did a video the other day that went super viral on comparing American founders to French founders.
Yeah.
And basically American founders have nothing and say, "Oh, we're $1 trillion company right now." French founders have like 100 million in revenue. They're like, "Yeah, you shit." Super viral. And the team is now like repurposing it into like 10 different.
Oh, of course. That works amazing. So one, formats are the thing that works, right? So one of the things that works really well for Mr. Beast is ladders, right? $1 hotel, $100 hotel, $1,000 hotel, $1 million hotel. Competing where you have people age 1 to 100, like all competing against each other in the same thing. Like I got trapped on an island, blah, blah, blah. He does the same formats, but changes the view and how it works. So American founder versus British founder is a perfect format. And then you switch it to French versus Ghanaian, whatever you want. And then, of course, repurposing works. You take the same piece of content and you put it on TikTok, you put it on Instagram, you put it on YouTube, you change the hook. Especially in performance marketing, it doesn't matter how many times you post because you're not going to damage your brand by posting something that will not perform organically because it's behind a wall anyway. It only gets served. It lives in the shadows. So just test 800 variations. Why not?
Do you give a shit about conversion? And I know that's...
I only care about conversion.
So because we have TikTok and we get lots of views, conversion back to core podcasts and core product, very little. Would you say then not worth it? Don't bother?
Yes.
Fascinating.
Correct. Only do things that result in conversion. So we have more than 50 million people who use Speechify now, the organic B2C product that makes it really easy to read. And we, like, if you don't download the app and you don't start a trial and you don't convert to paid, there's two options. The first one is I don't care. The second one is I actually do genuinely care that we solve dyslexia and ADHD. And so there's 2 billion people in the world that have either ADHD, low vision, autism, anxiety, concussion, second language learners. Our philosophy is we roll out the red carpet for the user. We give them the best experience possible. If you can't pay, that's fine. You still have a great experience. And so I think about that as that's our form of charity. Like we acquire the user and they can use the product for free. Amazing. But that's not what's going to cover the ad spend. So the ad spend is covered by the people who pay. If you don't get people who actually convert on your product, there's no point in doing the work that you're doing.
Do you have a separate growth team for the ads testing, for the new channel testing, for the iterations? Is that all in marketing or is that a separate growth team?
It's all in one. Yeah. It's not split. And it's like there's sub teams inside of growth, but they all report into the same people.
When you look at channel composition, what does yours look like today?
It's still word of mouth is like the biggest way of us getting people, right? It's someone telling their friend, hey, I know you like podcasts and audiobooks. and I can see that you're reading at like a normal reading speed. Like, don't you want to read 3x faster? Like, use Speechify to make AI generated audiobooks. That's the biggest one. We crush it on Apple. So we were like, we won the design award last year. We got featured by them like 14 times last year. SEO is huge for us. 10%, 15% now. 15% of our users come organically from ChatGPT. Inside of performance marketing, Meta is still the best winner. Google is the most profitable. YouTube is pretty good, especially on desktop. App 11 is interesting. TikTok is interesting, but they're not as big. And you have this great halo effect. So the more that you get the message out there in different ways, the more you sow the seeds that results in people talking about it and telling each other about it.
You said OpenAI there, and you said about being one of the first 200 on OpenAI ads. Biggest lessons from OpenAI